have Linda Gifford with us, and she is going to be talking to us about some of the techniques and information that she's got in her book that she wrote, Heal the Brain, Heal the Body. And so I'm just going to be asking you a few questions, and just so we can learn a little bit more about what it is that you do.
Thank you for inviting me today.
Okay, so talk to me about what your work is.
So I had a brain injury, and I had somebody take care of me for 8 years.
Wow.
And so when you give up all your rights to have people take care of you, and you can't remember but much more than 1 or 2 hours at a time, I ran around with a notebook all the time so that I could write down anything that anybody told me or that I was going to ask a question about, and then I couldn't write because you can't read my handwriting. And I basically wrote the book from my notes.
From your notes, okay.
From my notes. But the thing is I've learned a lot since then. And I had to learn how to learn to walk again, talk again. I had physical injuries as well. And so, but the biggest problem was my brain wasn't working. And therefore my body wasn't working. And I really do, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, so how did you find the things that would work? How did you know what to do to repair that?
Well, I did Western medicine, obviously, at the very beginning, but I had 8 medications on my bed table. And you can't live on 8 medications, prescribed medications. I could have all the opioids that I wanted to kill the pain. I had all the muscle relaxers I wanted, and blah, blah, blah. But after all of the doctors and psychiatrists and neurologists and PET scans and MRIs and everything, my family was told, this is the best that Linda will ever be, and she'll never be able to take care of herself.
So what happened when you heard that?
I knew I had to do something else as well.
Yeah.
And luckily I had learned a lot of this stuff because my dad was really ill, and so I just wanted him to be able to communicate with me. And so I learned some things that I could like work on his hands, work on his feet, and help him feel better. And I learned all of that before my accident, thank God. So then I kind of knew, okay, I'm going to go and do something. I'm going to go and do something else, and I'm going to do something else. And some really good people just told me about other good people that was helping me. And eventually I got off of all those medications.
Using what techniques? I mean, what were you doing?
A whole array of them.
Okay.
I have 65 different modalities that I'm certified to teach.
Wow.
So, did I have all of them done? Yeah. And so I'm really fortunate in that. But mainly is to connect the brain and the body. So our brain is our master computer, just like your hard drive on your computer. Mm-hmm. Me moving my hands, me talking, my digestive system, those are all programs. So in a Windows 7, which is what I wrote this book on, and my next book is on Windows 10,
right.
Any information that I have here, I cannot put into my Windows 10.
Got it.
It does not compute. So I had to change my brain just like you would do that, and get my body to work with my brain, and my brain to work with my body. So all the nerves come up from your feet all the way up, comes through your brainstem into correct part of your brain. And if it can't get there, then your brain cannot get the knowledge of what's going on in your body.
So it all begins with the feet, is what
well,
you're saying?
it does start with the feet, but I mean, just all of our nerves, just go up the spine. Each vertebrae is responsible for different nerves, and it starts to communicate to the brain if it can get there. Mm-hmm. If you're swollen back here, which I had a whiplash, and I was really swollen back here, so that information was not getting to my brain, and they would, so I had high blood pressure, and then they would give me medicine for high blood pressure, and then it would drop too low, so then they would give me for low blood pressure, and we went on and on like this back and forth for several years. And I realized it has to be a brain thing. I'm not taking anything for my blood pressure.
So
So I learned-
your brain was adapting on some level with these extreme things, the high blood pressure, the low blood pressure.
Or my body just wasn't communicating to
Gotcha.
it.
Mhm.
I mean, I was riddled in pain for a long time, and my headaches were for 4 years,
Headaches before.
4 straight years,
Wow.
and I lost. The dentist, I have 4 dentists, and they wanted to say, you have really good teeth, Linda, it would be a shame if you lost those. Are you willing to fight to keep them? And I said yes.
Mhm.
And I'm glad I did, because they said the pain would be so great to try to put dentures in there because my jaw was fractured and it would never be the same, and so then I would have that pain. So I ate soft foods.
So the headaches were connected to the,
Different.
yeah.
Totally. I mean, I'm not saying that I didn't have pain from that. Sure, I did, but the damaged part of my brain caused a lot of that constant head stuff. The jaw obviously caused a lot of pain, but I was very fortunate, and I'm still learning today. And I work on my brain every day. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I had everything done, including brain and everything, and they compiled some information. A couple doctors did, but one told me, said, Linda, you're 14 years younger than your actual age.
Wow. Your brain age.
My brain works better now than it did when I was in the accident.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, so I work with kids that are special needs kids.
Mm-hmm.
I work with people that have dementia, Alzheimer's, PTSD, and my biggest thing is I had a great nephew that had a brain injury, and I couldn't save him, and he committed suicide. And so I do this for him.
Mhm.
I do this for him because there's a lot of other people out there that are trying to commit suicide because they just don't know what to do or where to go. And so if you can give them hope in little bits at a time, and stay with it, it's simplicity and consistency are the 2 most important things.
So do you have them do work at home then? After
I give them all homework,
Right.
but no
okay.
more than 3 at a time. Those 3 things might do a lot of stuff,
Right.
but only 3 things at a time. And then we'll add things, and they'll get better. And it's so rewarding when I see people that realize that it really is a hope,
Yeah.
and they really can get better. And the most important thing is that they really have somebody taking care of them, helping them. And unless you've been there, you don't understand where
You
they're
don't-
at.
You don't understand it.
And so I try to explain to whoever's taking care of them and helping them, because they just don't understand either. And then I give them hope. So I'll ask, I have a client, and her husband is 59 years old and has had 3 strokes. And she called me because her daughter-in-law and son said, oh, call Linda, she'll be able to help her. Because she had a lot of anxiety and stuff because of her husband, frustration, and she's a retired nurse.
Wow, that's
And
cool.
so, and she says, do you think you can help my husband? And I said, I don't know, but I'll evaluate him after I work with you. And so I did evaluate him. I said, what do you want most important? What is the most important thing to you? He says, I'd like to learn how to walk without a cane and not fall. And he says, I'd like to drive 2.5 blocks to go to a big box store so that I can walk around in that big box store and nobody will tell me I can or can't do it. And he says, and that would give me a lot of freedom. And within 2 weeks, he was doing both.
Wow.
Now, I'm not saying
That's
everybody.
remarkable too.
I'm not saying that everybody can get like that.
No, I'm
Please
sure it's
understand
different
that.
every
Yeah,
case.
and how long will it stay or happen or continue? Only if he does the work. He has to reprogram his brain so it becomes
consistent.
naturally and consistently because it's like a marathon. If you're going to go and run a marathon, you're not going to go out and start running 26 miles. You got to do a little bit at a time and work up to that 26 miles. It's the same for him. It's the same for all of us. You know.
So I have a question on your book. If somebody bought this book, would they understand from reading it what some of the techniques are, or would they know what to do?
Yes and no.
Yes.
Scientifically, there's lots of stuff in there why these things are done, how it works.
And
so,
why it matters.
Why it matters. And so you understand the brain, you understand the nervous system, everything is, as doctors and researchers tell me, Linda, you took all of our research and you just put it in layman's terms. I did. Now, most people just want to pick that up and get instantly better.
Yeah.
That won't happen. But you can find things in there that do help you, and it explains exactly how to do it. But even before you get to the techniques, you learn why you need to do it.
Right. Which
So,
is important.
yeah.
People need to know the whys.
The whys. And also see that people have done it and how successful they've been at their, don't take my word for it, please. It's like,
try it.
just listen, read what these people have said, and then understand where they came from. Because I don't have everything. I made 8 classes for 4 people that are in this book.
Wow. Okay.
And those 8 classes are for what was wrong with them. It's not for everybody.
Right.
However, it gives people hope. There's something in there for everybody. So simplicity, repetition, consistency, and the 2 best things that you need to do for yourself is deposit a savings account of joy and gratitude.
Excellent.
So you save money to wait for, in case of a rainy day or something that happens to your life that unexpected. But you have to save that same thing for when life hits you emotionally, physically, traumatically, not only for yourself, but for your family as well. You've got to have that savings account.
Right.
And how do you do that? It's very simple in here. And I just tell people to only pick 3 things. And then after you've done those for about 30 days, then you can take another one. And I'm going to do your toes today.
Okay.
Because our hands don't lie and our feet don't lie. And so, I've done thousands of people. I followed my master teacher for the hands for a whole year, and I only missed every weekend for a whole year, and I only missed 4 weekends out of the whole year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Because I couldn't remember, but I could
Right.
feel, and I never forgot how it felt, and that's what I had to do. So, because I couldn't remember for very long, so it didn't matter if I wrote down notes. It didn't mean anything to me the next day or a week later. But as I felt people, and then I would say, okay, I feel something different. This is what I'm feeling. Is that correct? And he would be right there, and he says, you are correct.
Yeah.
So I kept on going back and forth like that for a whole year, and so I can feel.
Okay, let's
Thank
do
you
it.
very much. Okay.